Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Brett Johnson. This is the Brett Johnson Show. It is Monday. March 16th, 2026. I am Brett Johnson. And if you are in Eastern Kentucky, good morning to you. If you're in Hazard, Kentucky, my hometown, good morning to you. We are streaming live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on the YouTube. Good morning to everyone. It's been a long weekend. I'm running late. You guys in Eastern Kentucky, you know this as well. We had some severe storms last night. My poor little Chihuahua, little Pookie, who'll obviously visit us here in a few minutes. He's eating right now. Little Pookie woke me up last night, scared to death. So I had to sit up with him as the winds raged, as the storm blew. And then I woke up this morning and the internet was just like, it's not working right. But now it's working. So we're running late. I apologize about that. Good morning to everyone in Eastern Kentucky. I love you guys all. Well, not all of you. You know, you corrupt people out there. We got a problem. You predators out there. Boy, do we ever have a problem. My name is Brett Johnson. This is the Brett Johnson Show. We've already got someone on this morning saying good morning. And hey, Bree Williams, good morning, Bree. I hope that you had an excellent weekend. I hope everyone out there had an excellent weekend. We usually start the day off reading song lyrics. I'm expanding past song lyrics sometimes. Sometimes I've been doing that. Sometimes I'll read a Bible verse. Sometimes I won't do anything. I'll just start going off the handle immediately. This morning, though, the first poet laureate of the United States was a man by the name of Robert Frost. And people probably know this guy. I like him a lot. A lot of people know the phrase, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. And miles to go before I sleep. I was going to read that poem to start the morning out. But I read the whole thing again. I was like, doesn't really apply. So I'm reading another poem of his this morning. And this is called Two Roads Diverged into a Wood. Two roads diverged into a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. I read that, and thing is that at one point in my life, I had considered becoming a preacher, going into seminary, and I did not do that because at that point in my life, I had a profound, and I mean a profound, lack of faith. My mom had raised me and my sister where she had used religion as a tool to control and manipulate us. And some of the stuff was absolutely insane. Because of that, I'd always held that against God. And I had profound problems with faith. These days, it's not just these days, geez, my entire life, I've had people that have looked out for me. And during the past decade of being on the good guy side of the fence, I have been acutely aware that the reason that I am where I am, doing what I'm doing now, is because of every single person that I've met, everything that I've done and that has been done to me, good and bad. And that is not by coincidence. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I am exactly where I am supposed to be right now, doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. And that is only by the grace of God. I know that. I absolutely know that. That being said, I'm my entire life I've been fairly well read in the Bible. My first girlfriend was from up in Leatherwood, and her dad, Manus Roberts, he was a preacher for the Church of Christ. And I think Manus has passed away now. I think he's passed away. But his daughter, I started dating her, first real girlfriend I had, started dating her. And I hadn't met the dad yet. I knew he was a preacher for the Church of Christ. So he comes in one night. He was a coal miner, truck driver. He comes in one night, and I knew the mom. The mom loved me. He sits down. It's the first night I met him, and he's like, "Brett Johnson." I was like, "Yes, sir." He's like, "I've heard about you." I was like, "Yes, sir." He's like, "Yeah." He said, "Everybody at work knows who you are." I was like, "What'd they say?" And he was like, "Well, they said you're a smart aleck." And I was like, "Well, they probably do know me then." He's like, "Well, you go to church, son." I was like, "No, sir, I really don't." He's like, "Well, son, do you believe in God?" I was like, "Well, sir," I said, I like to think that I'm spiritual." I said, I'm trying." He sat there, he nodded for a minute. It's like, "Well," he's like, anybody who dates my daughter is going to go to church. Do we understand?" I was like, "Yes, sir, I absolutely understand." He said, "Sundays and Wednesdays." I was like, "Yes, sir, I'll be there every Sunday and every Wednesday." And I was for 5 years straight, every Sunday, every Wednesday. And then he looks at me and he was like, "Here's what it is." He said, "Either you are a servant of God or you are a servant of Satan. Which one are you?" And I looked at him and I didn't even hesitate. I said, "Sir, I have to tell you, I am a servant of Satan." And he looked at me. And I mean, he looked at me for a minute, considering, and he's like, "Good answer. I will see you every Sunday and every Wednesday in church." I was like, "Yes, sir." The good thing that Manus did was he absolutely believed in people reading their Bible. And, if he was saying something, find it in the text. I'm not going to say anything that's not in there. And he took a very literal interpretation of the Bible. So I'm very well read. And the reason I say that, there's two roads diverged into one. And there's a verse. And I usually use the King James Version. But sometimes the King James Version, for those who aren't, sometimes people don't get it. So I'll use the New International Version for Matthew 7:13. And it says, remember we said two roads diverged into one. I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. The New International Version of Matthew 7:13 says, "Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road, which leads to destruction, and many enter through that." Many enter through that. That's what we're talking about in Eastern Kentucky. So many people in power, well, those in power and those who prey not only on the citizens of Eastern Kentucky, but the children of Eastern Kentucky, they absolutely walk that path to destruction. And for so long, we have been the people that have allowed that to happen. We've allowed it to happen. We've been silent. We've seen people like Noah Back that have been preying on our children. And Noah Back, this 16-year-old, he was raping her since she was 13. Not the first girl. A couple years ago, evidently he raped another girl, and that was covered up. Nothing done about it because those people who are in power, have not been called out, have not been made to suffer as the guilty should suffer. They've not been held to the fire. That's what this show is about. This is our 10th show. This is our 10th show talking about Eastern Kentucky, the predators, the corruption. And over the span of that 10 shows, we've had 3 people fired. We've had the FBI now become involved. We've called out a lot of corruption. We're going to call out a lot more today. We've been doing a hell of a lot of good. That's exactly what we've been doing. I get somewhere between 100 and 150 messages a day talking about the corruption, telling us what a good job that we are doing. And notice I'm not saying me, I'm saying we, because, yeah, I'll get up here and say this shit, but it's us that's doing this. It's us that's making a difference. I had a young lady, her name, I forgot the actual name. I want to make sure I get this right. I forgot the last name, Bree. So bear with me just a second here. Her name is, the account's name is Abrila Brian Williams. Made a nice t-shirt, made a very nice t-shirt. It's got the anglerfish, the Brett Johnson symbol on the front of it, and on the back it's just got "just do the right damn thing." And man, I like it. And I guess she's making these t-shirts, and someone reached out to me and said, if they're using your logo and stuff, you ought to be allowed to say what's going on with the money. And she reached out to me. She said, "Do you want anything for this?" And my response was, no, I don't. If it gets really big and everything, we can talk about something then. But for right now, you guys do you. I believe that if someone's able to make some money in Eastern Kentucky, do it legally, and do something that's good, that money ought to stay in Eastern Kentucky. I wouldn't feel right taking, and I don't make no mistake, I need some money. I could use somebody too. I think all of us could right now. Hell, bologna here in Birmingham is like $9 a pack for bologna. All of us could use some money, but I think that if someone's able to make some money in Eastern Kentucky, make some t-shirts, hey, you go right ahead. You got my blessing. If you guys want a t-shirt, please reach out to her. I think she'd be more than happy to supply you with a t-shirt that says, "Just do the right damn thing." We are getting ready to talk about some bitches today. Howard Sumner, good morning, Howard. I hope you are doing well, sir. Ronica Neese, thank you so much. I hope you get all the corruption in Perry County. Ronica, good morning. I appreciate that. Ronica, I don't give a heck who you are. Just do the right damn thing. Exactly. Ronica, order 2. See, that's what I like to see. Because I tell you what, we absolutely know that there's a lot of good people that are listening to this show. We know that. I tell you what we know too. We know there's a hell of a lot of bad people that are watching this show. And man, are they worried. I mean, they are worried. And they ought to be, because finally, we've got a group of people that are saying no. And can you imagine Sheriff Joe Engel, Scott Alexander, Bill Back, Angie Back, whoever the hell else is out there, Daddy Ray Noble. Can you imagine them in Walmart or walking down Main Street and they see somebody in front of them? They're like, "What's that say on the back of that shirt?" And they get a little bit closer. And then it's like, "That's that damn Johnson. That's that damn show. That's one of them. That's one of them has had enough of my bullshit, ripping off the county, victimizing people so that I can gain power and profit." It just ruined their entire day. It would just ruin their entire day. So why don't everybody load up, buy one of these shirts, and try to ruin some bitch's day that might see it? That's what I say. That's what I think. Now, I just got a note. Tammy Stone, good morning. I found your page from all the posts others have shared from that precious young girl that lost her precious life. Let's not forget Emma Lynn, because I don't forget Emma Lynn, and her family. Her family doesn't forget her. And the people who have been victimized, the children who have been victimized, who are now adults, they don't forget her because they have been triggered again by this entire story that's going on. People of Eastern Kentucky that believe in doing the right damn thing, they don't forget her either. So let's keep her in our mind, that a child died. And let's keep in mind, too, that the only other person that's been charged in this ATV accident is another child. Now, I understand, rumor has it that the grand jury is convening to look at one Noah back. Rumor also has it that corrupt Sheriff Joe Engel, I'm going to say that, and I'm confident these days. I'm confident these days about saying corrupt Sheriff Joe Engel. You know, I've been saying it. It's not like I've not been saying it, because I knew that it was there. I just hadn't got all the evidence in yet. Now I'm more confident. I can say it, and I can pray that corrupt Sheriff Joe Engel, see how that rolls off the tongue? Corrupt Sheriff Joe Engel, if he does sue me, man, is that a very bad day. No good, very bad day for corrupt Sheriff Joe Engel. We'll talk about him in a minute. So I understand a grand jury may be convening to look at evidence against Noah Back. As we know, that doesn't mean a damn thing in Hazard, Perry County, Kentucky, or in other parts of Kentucky. And for those people who are in Knott, Letcher, Pike, Floyd, Laurel, throughout Eastern Kentucky, for those people, Letcher, for those people, I want you guys to understand something. We are starting in Perry County. I'm from Eastern Kentucky. I'm from Hazard, but I'm from Eastern Kentucky. And I'm proud of being from Eastern Kentucky. And if I can do something to help out the people there, you're damn right. We are staying in Eastern Kentucky. This show, the Brett Johnson Show, is now about cleaning up the corruption and the pedophiles of Eastern Kentucky, making the place someplace that it used to be, where the people of Eastern Kentucky knew that they were a proud people. They were damn proud of it. They would stand up against corruption. They wouldn't tolerate a bunch of predators. Badges wouldn't stop them. A gavel wouldn't stop them. They would take care of business. And a lot of people have forgotten that over time. My granddad was Paul Campbell. Paul Campbell. And I was reminded the other day, I was on the phone with someone, and they reminded me. And I've talked about how my granddad was crazy. And he was. I mean, this man chases around the house with a butcher knife. This man, at one point, I guess it was 3 o'clock in the morning, there was a mouse, not even a rat, a mouse in his house. And we were all sound asleep. At 3 o'clock in the morning, gunshots ring out inside of the house because this man has laid in the floor all night long with his .22 rifle pointed at that hole in the floor, in the wall, where that mouse has been coming out. And he's been waiting for that son of a bitch all night long with that .22 pointed at it, until finally it poked its little dead mouse head out of that hole. And it didn't have a head after that. Needless to say, when gunshots ring out, 3 o'clock in the morning, it does cause one a degree of PTSD. That was just one thing. But my granddad also was this stand-up guy. He was a little nutty, but he'd take up for you. He'd take up for you. And if somebody did something wrong, he would right it. He would. And I was reminded of that by this phone call I had just a few days ago. And Seth, I didn't tell a person that. I just said, it was hitting me though as they were talking. I was like, yeah, that was my granddad. My granddad was, when he got cancer and was dying, he went blind, and all the bad stuff he had ever done in his life, he took a really proactive approach to trying to make amends. And I truly hope that the man was able to, and that he is on the other side, on the good side up there. I truly do. I truly do. Check notes. I'm going to talk about some stuff that's went on that we found out. The defense rests. Good morning, Sandra. I am beyond happy to see that you have been able to catch the live show today. I know you made that comment. You were hoping to make it today. And I'm glad, man, I am glad you are. I hope that your day is bright. I hope that everything is good. I have not popped open the Monster Rehab energy drink yet. I will do that hopefully before the end of the show. All right. Defense rest. They sure as shit have been triggered again, and they have absolutely had enough. You're damn right. You're damn right. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, that, you know, a victim who has been preyed upon as a child, every single time that they see, you know, another child being preyed upon, that abuse that they suffered, they relive that. That's this PTSD that I'm talking about. They relive that nightmare again every single time that happens. All right. And especially when they see that the predator is being protected by law enforcement, by corrupt politicians, by those in power, by some money, you know, that it really damages those victims more and more. And it damages, you know, I think about the damages being done to Emmeline, her memory, her family, the community, the victims, this other child victim that's the only one's been charged in the case so far. The damage is such that it damages not only those people in the community, but it damages us as a people. As a people, we don't have to put up with that. Every single day, we've got a choice to wake up and just do the right damn thing. Every single day. You know, it is never. I had someone comment on Facebook that it's too late to change things now. No, by God, it is not. It is not. Paul was the worst sinner on the planet. He took joy in killing Christians, and he was able to change his life. I charged with 76 felonies, pled out to 39, escaped prison after that. Prolific criminal, prolific. And I was able to change my life, turn it around. It is never, and that was in my 40s. It is never too late to wake up and decide to do something different, to benefit your fellow human being and your neighbor, and not cause harm or not be silent. You know, like Jacob Watson. I told you, dude. I told your ass I was going to say good morning to you today. Good morning, Jacob Watson. I know that you are a huge fan of not Happy Gilmore, Happy Mobilooney. Let me tell you something. There's only one person that should be called Happy. That is Happy Gilmore, not from the second Happy Gilmore movie, because that one sucked, but from the first Happy Gilmore movie. That's the only person that should be referred to as Happy. All right. He sent me, he was posting last night because he's mad that I'm calling out Happy Mobilooney. He's pissed off about that. So he's like, can I ask you a question? I was like, no, you can't. Ended that. And I responded. It shut him up pretty quick. I responded. I was like, you can't ask me a question, but let me ask you a question. Any idea why someone, and I meant Happy, why someone, hold on. I know you got to get up here. Pookie's got to say good morning to everyone. Say good morning, Pookie. Pookie says good morning. Did you eat your breakfast? I'm so glad. All right. So, and I asked Jacob a rhetorical question because I already knew the answer. And the viewers this morning will know the answer as well. And my question was, any idea why someone, meaning Happy, would have restrictions on being able to be in the company of children? Why would that happen? Why would somebody be restricted to spending time with children, especially if that person had been a principal of a high school? Why would those restrictions be in place? And Jacob did not answer that. Instead, he responded, can I explain something to you? And I was like, nope, don't need an explanation. Already know. I already know why someone would have restrictions on not being able to be in the company of children. And we all know that too, don't we? Happy, your day is coming. Your day is coming. You have no idea. You got no clue what we're going to be doing to you later. Either late this week, early next week. Man, it's a very bad day for the Hazard, Kentucky mayor. Sandra, what's so horrid is a child had to lose her life before this crime came to light. Amen. This has been going on for years, and no one has stepped up till a life was lost. Thank you, Brett, so much for stepping up and going after them. So, yeah, hey, you're right. You're absolutely right. And Lord knows I wish I would have done that sooner. I do. But it's not just me that's doing that. And I appreciate you saying thank you. It's Sandra, it's you, it's everyone out there. And I've got people that, reaching out to me. Hey, had to change my Facebook name because, I work in the area. And I don't want these some of my bitches knowing who I am. I'm like, I understand. This is not just me anymore. It's us. We are doing this. I can cause a lot of damage. I can cause a lot of harm on my own. But as a team, as a movement, we are able to enact real change. Real change. I got a note before I came on live. Scott Blair. We all know Scott Blair, former Perry County prosecutor that used his position and power to victimize those he was prosecuting. Hey, here's the deal. Now, what you can do, you can take it to trial. And when you take it to trial, I'm going to throw the ever-loving book right at you. That's exactly what I'm going to do. But, I've been looking at you. Man, I've been looking at you. And, you can find, don't tell anybody this, but now you can find some meth. You can find you some meth. And if you're willing to, bend me over, and if you don't mind throwing a hot dog down the hallway, I'll make sure that if you don't take it easy on me, I'll take it easy on you. That's Scott Blair. Got 54 months for that. Got his ass out because, positions of power. He got his ass out because there's a lot of programs now that can give you extra time off in prison, and he's connected. He was seen at Walmart the day after I started bitching about this. I guess maybe he walks like he's in a saddle. I don't know. I would imagine he does because he just got out of prison. I would imagine that, I know there are people in prison that, when I was in prison, some of the most fun you could have on a Sunday was trying to run away from being raped on Sundays, I joke about that. But there was a real thing going on of, at those prisons, the two prisons that I was serving the majority of my time at, we didn't have a one shower. You had separate stalls, and they had curtains on them, thank God. But, you would go use, wake up 2 o'clock in the morning, walk down the hall, go to the bathroom. As you're taking a leak, you'd kind of glance over toward the showers, and you'd pray you wouldn't see it, but sometimes you would see 4 feet in the shower, and you knew what was going on. I'm sure that during Scott Blair's tenure, that 2 of those feet was his. Now, the reason I keep bringing up Scott Blair was a buddy of corrupt county judge executive Scott Alexander. See, I keep talking about you, Scott. I keep talking about you. And the reason I keep talking about you is because your ass is corrupt. Your ass is ugly, too. Nothing worse than a corrupt, ugly politician that's county judge executive. I mean, if the guy was good looking, you could kind of forgive it. You could kind of go, well, at least he's good looking. At least as he's screwing everybody in Perry County, we can look, bear to look at a picture of him on the news or in the newspaper. We can't even do that with you, Scott. We can't even do that with you. But Scott, evidently, because Scott Blair, he's got to be able to buy his meth someplace because he's no longer in a position of power where he can extort people for meth and sexual favors. He's got to pay for that shit now. Scott Blair can't get a job anymore. He's not an attorney anymore. All that time in law school went toward naught. So Scott Alexander is evidently hiring Scott Blair. Now, I'm not okay with that. I am not okay with that. I'm sitting there wondering, well, why isn't, if there's a position that needs to be filled in Perry County that the county judge executive can fill, why is he filling it with an individual who preyed upon the citizens of Perry County? Well, it's because he's his buddy. Now, did Scott engage in any sexual escapades with Scott Blair? Oh, I don't know. I know that Scott's an ugly fella. I know he's an ugly fella. I don't know if Scott leans that way or not. I really don't. I do know that Scott, let's be honest. Scott's the kind of guy, to me, I fully believe that probably he goes to truck stops and he hangs out in men's bathrooms just to smell the poo. That's who I think Scott is. I may be wrong about that, but I don't think I'm far off. Needless to say, Scott, I don't like you. And then when I say Scott, I mean Scott Blair, Scott Alexander, and any Scots out there who may be predators or corrupt, dead or alive. That's what I think. Let's check the messages before we talk about the corrupt Sheriff Joe Engel a little bit. All right. Defense arrest. Bye-bye, mouse. You have no idea. Gunshot that time in the morning. It wakes one up, and it's kind of hard to get back to sleep. The other thing my granddad did is funny and shit. We were in Airport Gardens. For those who in Hazard, we were in Airport Gardens, Bottom Street. You can drive by there now, and the house is still there. It's dilapidated and everything, but it's about halfway down the street. And my granddad, at one point, you can buy chickens through the mail, and they will ship them to you. They arrive at the post office, and you go and get them. And he bought these little chicks. He bought like 400 of these things. Airport Gardens, he buys like 400 of them. He builds this little shack right beside the house. And man, that dude was proud of those little chickens. And I guess he thought he was going to become rich as a chicken farmer, eggs, what have you. And he was so happy. And it was the dead of summer. And he would spend time out there. And of course, the house, the entire yard started to smell like chicken shit, even though the chicks were in the little shed. Started to smell like chicken shit. And it started to get out in the neighborhood a little bit. And everybody's like, that Paul Campbell, it smells like chicken shit around here. So every night, because it was in the summer, Paul had this box fan, and he would put it at the door of that little thing so that the little chickens would not burn up in the middle of the night. Well, what happens is that box fan, they tell you, hey, don't leave those things plugged in. They're not meant for outside use. Well, Paul never paid any attention to that. And one night, again, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, we hear him screaming, get out of the bed, everything's on fire. The box fan had caught on fire, and the chickens were on fire as well. So here we are. Paul, he always slept in a long sleeve, button-up shirt, and he had the white jockey, Hanes underwear, the bikini things. And he didn't change his underwear very often. So, it'd stretch out a little bit, and sometimes he'd hang out of it. Well, he didn't bother to put pants on, and we all ran across the street, and we're standing across the street watching everything burn. The fire department shows up, and their entire job was to make sure that the fire that was on the chicken house did not reach the main house, and they didn't burn that up. So they got the fire put out and everything else. Well, the problem was that for the next 2 weeks, the entire neighborhood smelled like burnt chicken. And Paul was walking around in an absolute daze. I mean, he was just stunned, like a zombie in a stupor. And what happened was my first cousin, Ronnie Buck. Y'all may know Ronnie Buck. He's my first cousin, Ronnie Buck Campbell. Love that dude. I love that dude. He's outstanding. Been in some trouble too, but he's a good guy. Ronnie Buck, he gets Paul out of his stupor. And what happens is one day, Paul's he wasn't talking to anybody. I mean, you could tell the man was depressed, just upset, just in shock. And Ronnie Buck looks at him one day. He says, "Well, what's up there, Colonel Sanders?" And Paul was sitting there like, and you see it in him. He starts to, and needless to say, that was one of those times that Paul got the butcher knife and chased someone around the house over and over and over until Paul got tired, out of breath. He sat down, and Ronnie came up, kind of looking at him. And of course, Paul did his little, "Don't let me catch you, Ronnie. I'll kill you." So that was my granddad. I loved him. I loved him. I can look back now and laugh at all that shit. The guilt, the shame, the betrayal, I agree, defense rest. Barbara Sloan, for everyone that's caught, there are thousands out there there are still thousands out there. That is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Wake up, Neo. Good morning. Defense rest. Lucky is going to feel as lucky as that buckshot mouse. Susan Reeder, thank you, sir, for helping us be able to have a voice to stand up to this. Those of us that have tried to stand up were threatened and shut down. The corruption is all over. The corruption is all over. The who you blow needs to be stopped. I mean, that's right. I mean, that is the problem. That is the problem. I've talked about that before. The disparity between rich and poor, the disparity between powerful and unpowerful is such in Eastern Kentucky that causes the corruption to go unchecked. That's a lot of the issue there. Susan Reeder, I have a question. I have personally witnessed Happy being drunk and acting a mess during our Christmas festival. How was he able to be at the festival full of children if he is restricted? Our tax dollars are used for our police to take him home all the time after he is drunk. It's sick. And there are pictures of children in the back of his vehicle drinking. I told you, Happy, it's going to be a very bad day for you. Pictures, that restriction. Of course, the school board continues to give him awards, even as he let children grind on his crotch. I understand that he had a nice little trip, went down to Florida with his daughter, gave them alcohol, let them party, and he got out of that trouble by saying, "I don't know where she got the alcohol." Well, Happy, check your credit card statement. I'm sure you could figure out pretty quickly where she got the alcohol. Yes, OB. Happy, your day is coming. Joe Engel. We're not making any phone calls today. That'll start tomorrow. Joe Engel. Let's talk about him for a minute. I've said that the man was corrupt. I've said it from the beginning. I've said it with confidence. I would like to know, Joe, how did he get that sheriff's job? How did he get that sheriff? There's a reason I probably talked about Joe's dad the other day, Lord Engel, or General Engel, depending, I guess, on who you talk to. I guess General Engel, spent some time burning after he got out of the military. He spent some time burning some houses, got his ass in trouble for that. Went to prison, got out early because back then it wasn't as bad as it was. It wasn't as strict as it was today. I understand that a $50,000 payment went to make sure that the school board backed one Joe Engel as sheriff. That's what I understand. I understand I also understand that, Mr. Engel, I don't call him a sheriff because to me, a law enforcement officer does their damn job. I also understand that a sheriff, that Joe, wanted to be the next county judge executive. Probably not because he wanted to do any good. He wanted to be a next county judge executive, except he didn't have that backing anymore. So he he registered as a Democrat. He lost, he re-registered. He did all this crap. He decided he wasn't going to run. He was going to drop as being sheriff, all this other stuff. He did all that. I understand all that. I'm wondering about that $50K payment. I wonder if that's true, Joe. I know something is true. I know that you were well aware of some gambling that was going on. I know that. I know you were well aware of some basketball games that were being rigged so that people could make some money through some corrupt referees, some corrupt coaches, some people that were using a children's game to make sure to throw games, using a children's game where children are just trying to enjoy life, to know what it means to be a team, to work together, to be social, to get a name in the community. You knew about these individuals using those children to profit. You knew about that. How do I know you knew about that? I know you knew about that, and I'll show these posts tomorrow. I didn't have time to pull it up before I got online today because you posted on Facebook about it. You posted on Facebook about it. You got mad because Scott Alexander knew about it and wasn't doing a damn thing about it. I guess Scott was profiting by it as well. Corrupt Scott Alexander, who hires his buddy, butt boy, Scott Blair. You knew about it. He knew about it. You got pissed about that, not because you wanted to do the right thing, but because nobody was backing you to be the next county judge executive. That's why you got pissed about it. And you didn't do anything about it. Instead, you removed the posts. You removed them. Oh, shit. I'm going to piss somebody off. I just wanted to put it up here to scare somebody. Nobody will ever know about it. Well, what you don't realize is that when you post something like that, you idiot, it never disappears. Then you got some son of a bitch like me, knows what he's doing. You knew about it. What else have you known about? Well, you know that Noah Back was guilty. You know that his child victim wasn't driving. You know that, but you didn't care. You didn't care because what you're interested in is power. That's what you're interested in. You're not interested in helping the people of Eastern Kentucky, your electorate. You're not worried about that. Damn you to hell. Pastor Joe Engel. Worst thing in the world, hypocrites. Hypocrites. How dare you be a preacher and not do the right damn thing? How dare you be sheriff and bask in the glory of being a preacher and a sheriff and make sure the people of Perry County are victimized at the same time? You damn hypocrite. You damn hypocrite. So you knew about it. You knew about it. It's weird to me that road you've got. That nice paved road that you've got. Those posts were up about the gambling. The Perry County Fiscal Court had approved on the flex plan that, that road that you've got that's paved now, they had approved for that to be paved. You show your ass up at their meeting, stand in front of a microphone and say, I would request, it's not been paved yet, I would request that we don't do it. And the fiscal court says, we agree, we won't do it yet. Yet 1 week later, it gets paved all the way up to corrupt Joe Engel's doorway. And those posts disappear. To me, that something don't sound right there. Something sounds a bit odd to me there. Don't know what you think. I think that something sounds a little odd. My name is Brett Johnson. Brett Johnson Show is all about calling out some of my bitches like that. I tell you. Yeah, here, here's Pite Tussie. 1, 2, 3. I like the little switch of letters there. Don't think I didn't get that. I understood exactly what that name's supposed to say. Oh, I love your phone calls. I tell you what, we're going to do all kinds of phone calls starting tomorrow. That's exactly what we're going to do. Let's see. Brian Columbia. I have to say that West Virginia is not that good neither. I tell you what, I've not spent a lot of time in West Virginia. I've not. But right now, I mean, we're handling. We're going to handle Eastern Kentucky. All right, and if we can get that done, maybe we can, raise some hell in West Virginia. Maybe we can start raising hell all over the place, and get this stuff taken care of. I read a thing over the weekend about Jeffrey Epstein. The people, Democrat and Republican, world politicians, the people who he was connected with that preyed upon children. There's a reason that neither the Democrats or Republicans really wanted those files released, because they were all on it. But I was reading about his ranch, Epstein's ranch, out in New Mexico, and I guess it was like a little city, like 26,000 acres. That's the size of Manhattan. To give you an idea. And these victims, these children who had been there, now they're adults. They were talking about how isolated it was, how they didn't think that anyone was come and help them, and no one did. And evidently, a few girls died there because during their rapes, and they had been buried on the property, and the feds had never investigated it. To this day, they've not investigated it. And I mean, just think about that. And I know Epstein's this, everyone talks about Epstein right now, but it's not just Epstein. We've got people in power in Eastern Kentucky that are mini Epsteins. If they had the money that Jeffrey had, they would be doing the exact same thing. That's the issue. And Epstein got away with it for years. He even once they caught him once before, and he made a sweet deal where he was able to continue to victimize people. It's no different in Eastern Kentucky. There's just the scale is smaller. We have to be a better people than that. We have to make sure that it starts about I know that people out there are saying it's so prevalent. There's so much of it happening, and I know that can seem like that's overwhelming, because you look at it and say, my God, it's everywhere. Well, it's not everywhere, but there's a lot of it. All right. What you got to do is you take that one instant, and you say on that one instant, no back. You take that one instant and you say, by God, we've had enough. And you take it piece by piece by piece. And before you know it, that big picture that you've been seeing that seemed so overwhelming, you start to understand, yeah, we're chipping away. We're taking care of this, and we will win. We will win. Bobby Caldwell, clean up our little town. Yeah, it's not just me. It's everyone. Everyone's starting to clean up. Love your show, Bobby. I appreciate that. Ronica, is the DUI against the victim still, and is it the only charge still? Yes, the DUI is still the only charge that's been brought. The defense rests. It is still standing. I've got a pretty little video of preacher Michael Clark, who now has his own ministry, rub shoulders with the good old boys. I'll email it. By all means, email it. Good morning, Bub. This is from 6-string 8144. Hope you're having a great day. You know what? I'm not having a bad day. At all. I'm so confused. What is it you think Happy Mobilini has done? Can I get more info on that? So what has Happy Mobilini done? I don't know. I guess he's, just as pure as the driven snow. I guess he's just fine. I guess he's not done anything. I guess Brett, mean old former United States most wanted criminal Brett, mean old Brett's just picking on him because his nickname is Happy. I guess that's what's going on, Happy's not done anything. Happy's innocent. Happy's happy. How can you pick on someone named Happy? Why would you do that? Maybe I've got a problem. Maybe I've got a huge problem with somebody who allows children to give them crotch dances and then celebrates it. Maybe I've got a huge problem with somebody who supplies alcohol to children and parties with them. Maybe I've got a huge problem with someone who has restrictions on spending or being around children, and yet he does it anyway. And maybe I've got a huge problem with school boards who continue to give someone like that who has restrictions on spending time with children because of all the shit he's done with children. Maybe I've got a huge problem with that going on. What do you think? You think maybe? Idiot. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you idiot. But here's the thing. I'll say to your face, or at least on a YouTube show, anything I'll say behind your back to you. We're on a roll today. Yeah, we're on a roll today. All right. I guess Frostbite 2143. Oh, there we go. Here you go. I mean, you're dogging him, and he spent his whole life giving in a school system while you spent the time scamming single mothers. I want to see this evidence against Happy since I'm such an idiot. Well, I'll be happy. Huh? You see what I did there? I'll be happy. You see? I'll be happy to show you, as I said at the top of the show, late this week, early next week. And yeah, hey, I told everybody I've been right out of the gate. I used to be that guy. Now I'm this guy. And the problem is that this guy still has the exact same skill set that he used to have when he ran all that bad shit back in the day, except that this guy is on the good side now. And this time it's targeted toward all these some of my bitches that you like, that you're sucking up to, that you're licking the boots of. I told people the very first day I started complaining about this, that you want to make sure that you're on the right side of this narrative because history will not smile gently upon you. You are one of those that will not be viewed in a good light. You will be looked upon as, that's one of them right there. That's one of them right there. That's one of you right there. All right. So your evidence, and I'll show the pictures. I'll show all that bullshit. Your evidence will be toward the end of the week, early next week. And you'll sit there and say, well, it was all way back then, Since that point in time, he's done all kinds of good. He's done, no, I don't care. I don't care. I don't. I don't give a damn. What I care about is all that bad shit. What I care about is that someone, people try to talk up against him. And if he's able to punish them for criticizing him, he does. Just ask that poor lady whose water bill went from $30 to $40 a month up to $900 a month. That's what I care about. That you don't care about that. I don't give a damn what you don't care about. I hope you stub your toe today. That's what I hope. I've got this whole thing where, man, I'm going to close the show on this. I've got this whole thing where I don't wish harm on anybody. I don't. But sometimes, like Angie back, I would not be horribly upset if she were walking down the street one day and her ovaries fell out and splatted on the ground so that she couldn't breathe anymore. I would not be horribly upset about that. I might even smile a little bit. It might make the sun shine just a little bit brighter. I would not be horribly upset if Billback were walking down the street one day and his nutsack just fell off and splatted on the ground. I would not be horribly upset. I might even chuckle a little bit. I would not be, if I were, walking down the street and I saw Joe Engle eating a pantry shelf donut and he got choked on it, I'm not sure that I would run over and give him the Heimlich maneuver. I might look at him and watch it for a couple minutes. And I might walk up to him and say, look, are you choking on the donut or are you choking on all that corruption that you've not done anything about and that you've taken part of? I might ask him that. I don't wish harm on anyone. Sometimes I do wish that, because, if you're a Christian, you're wanting to get back to the bosom of God. And sometimes I wish that some of these people would, shuffle off the mortal coil a bit sooner and leave us alone and get back to the bosom of God. But I kind of think that maybe they wouldn't go to the bosom of God. I think that maybe they'd go someplace a little warmer, not beachfront. Well, probably there is a beachfront for that lake of fire. That's just my thought. I have these thoughts. I'm not an angry person. I'm a loving person. I'm a happy person. And I have these happy thoughts. They make me happy. I'm not sure they make happy. They make me happy. Frostbite. Frostbite, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. I appreciate you watching the show. I truly do. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to show all those pictures, baby. Don't you worry about that. No need to talk to Frostbite anymore. It was a homecoming celebration. It was that stuff where those girls, those children at Hazard High School 4 years ago, that was a homecoming celebration. That's all that was. And it's a tradition that the staff and the principal, they allow the female children, they allow them to dress up in Hooters outfits and pretend to serve beer because, the staff really wishes that some of those children then go on to work at Hooters so that they can go and look at them. Because, they have to kind of look at them on the side, but, now they're dressed up and we can actually cheer it on. Mm-hmm. And it's a tradition that the male children dress up in lingerie and give lap dances to the staff. That's a tradition. Well, it is. I guess it is their tradition. Frost, you're right. I guess it is. How many teachers in Perry County have either dated, which is a nice word for groom, have either groomed children and raped them while they've been students, or they've waited until they've graduated to date them? How prolific is that? If your dating pool is students and children, probably you are the problem. And if you're backing that bullshit, I promise you, you are part of the problem. You want to know if you're part of the problem, Frost? Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. My name is Brett Johnson. This is the Brett Johnson Show. It is Monday, March 16th. Baby blue. You could see all the students in the seats of the gym watching that boy pageant, and they looked uncomfortable as fuck. I have no doubt. Nobody looked like they were enjoying except the staff, and the staff looked like, man, they were happy. I said happy again. I know Happy looked very happy. I'm sure Happy had to go and seek some relief after that. Yeah, I got problems. I'm just a guy that's not afraid to say it. Just the guy that's not afraid to say it. Let's take one more comment. We're going to close out this show. You're like the uncle. This is Ronica Niece. You're like the uncle I never knew I needed. I love it. And I wouldn't be sad if someone was dumb enough to show up at your house and you get them with that cricket bat. And just so you know, me and mine are protected as well in case anyone gets butt hurt. So I appreciate that. I do. Want to remind everybody this, because it's Monday, the start of the week. Want to remind everybody, we are Eastern Kentucky. That means something. A lot of us have forgotten that. A lot of us have forgotten what that means. A lot of us have forgotten that though we are beaten down, though we are sometimes made fun of, though there is corruption, and a lot of us may not be educated or rich or powerful, we are still Eastern Kentucky. We stand up for what's right. We help our fellow human being. We do the right damn thing. Some of us have forgotten that. A lot of us have forgotten that. But it's time we remembered it. It's time we remembered what a proud people we are, that we do stand tall, that we have had enough. It's time we remembered that, and we're starting to. My name is Brett Johnson. The rest of this week, we're going to be making phone calls. We're going to be talking about more of this corruption. We're going to be calling out the things that need to be called out. And we're going to be upsetting people like Jacob Watson, Frostbite, Scott Alexander, Scott Blair, Joe Engel, the Backs, the Combs. We're going to be upsetting a lot of people that need to be upset, people that need to finally be scared instead of standing there knowing or thinking that no one's going to do a damn thing about it. It's time that these people started to be scared. We're getting there, and we're going to win that. Until tomorrow, my name is Brett Johnson. I want to say this too. I've started telling people I love them. All right. And I say that because in the world today, we have got to the point of so much hatred, so much evil, of not knowing each other and helping each other, that it seems to me that maybe letting people know, hey, you're my neighbor. I love you. I love you. Seems to me that might be a good thing to start telling people. So I've started doing that online, over the phone, in person. And sometimes, it gets people when you first say it's like, but then they get it. So I want to tell you guys, I love you. And I mean that. I love you. Truly. My name is Brett Johnson. Until tomorrow, just do the right damn thing.